Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SB Interviews, where today, for the 15th installment, we are chained to Vices Inc. with Eleanor, Christy, and Jagger. If we switch over to here, we have the three members on the screen. Feel free to introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Jagger.
I'm Eleanor.
I'm Christy. And I play drums in Vices Inc.
You play drums? That's cool.
Yes.
I do guitar, bass, keyboards. And Ellie does vocals and
strings, specifically viola.
so we do everything. We do everything ourselves, basically. Crazy.
No, it's fantastic. You guys are kind of thoroughly independent. Because hang on, you've mentioned, are you guys like signed to like a label or something like that, or is it like an indie label or?
So we own our own label and our own publishing company. So we do everything ourselves.
Oh, you're thoroughly independent. Because how long have you guys been going for?
2019. So only 2 years now. 2 years actually last month.
No.
Yeah.
What?
We found Ellie at a bus stop.
That's not true.
That's not true. Don't take anything you said seriously, except for the 2 years thing. That's actually completely true.
Because you guys have like made 2 albums.
Yeah, well, more than that actually. And if you know how much we have in the canon ready to be worked on, you'd be amazed. We basically going to do an album of so many different genres, from rock to jazz to pop punk. We are actually doing a metal album. We got a metal album in the canon, 30 songs. Yes. So
I'm tired just thinking about it.
Yeah.
If you name a genre, we're going to try to do it up to a point.
Dude, I'm blown away because I've actually listened to like a fair bit of your material. Like at this point, I listened to both of your records, and I listened because one of them was like a pop punky kind of one, and then you had the other one which is like kind of 80s themed, eh?
Exactly. Yep.
And do you want to talk about those specific albums in depth? Feel free to say what you know.
They're pretty great. No, so we didn't actually plan either of them really. So we
yeah, because we're going to do an EP first.
Yeah, we'd been working on like an EP, and we were like, oh, our first release, like we had some songs we were doing, and then sort of everyone who heard what we were doing was like, this should be an album, like you should add more to it. And so it just grew until we had an Everyday Hero, which was like fun for us because we have some songs that are a little more on the pop electronica side, and then some that are a little bit heavier pop punk, and that sort of previews where we're going to be going in the future, like on both sides of the spectrum. So we liked having that to start out.
Right.
And then Rolling 82.
Which is supposed to be filler.
Yeah, it was supposed to be kind of just like a quick EP we just threw out there. Like, I think I remember you calling me up one day, Jagger, and you were like, yeah, Ellie has this cool idea about roller skating. We want to do like a roller skating thing. I'm like, okay, we're going to do roller skating songs? I'm like, all right, we'll do some roller skating songs. And the next thing we knew, it got bigger and bigger, and even the EP itself is, I think it actually goes over a little over half.
Yeah, the reality is it was supposed to be 6 songs, but the whole project, it ended up being 25 songs for the Rolling E2. Actually, more than that, it's 27. And an Everyday Hero, totally with the B-sides and everything else, it's about 20 songs. So everything we do, it's like, because when we release singles, we always release a B-side that has nothing to do with the album itself. So we end up doing like, I don't know, an extra 5 songs per project. So right now we've done, within 2 years, about 80 songs, recorded fully. but backtracking with me and drums, we got a whole album already done, waiting for her vocals. That's another 12 songs there.
Yeah.
And then, again, I said I'm working on a mellow album, and there's like 32 songs on that one.
I'm the slow one.
I wasn't even the slow one. You're the one who has to like go through and like write all the vocals, and then we have to actually decide what we want to like put all our time into. Yes. The thing was like, there was that time when it was like around the pandemic hit, and that's really slowed us down, where we pretty much barely saw you the entire time of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And that was when I recorded the drums for the album that hasn't come out yet. And then we did the first version of the blues album.
Yeah.
I say we, like I did that much work on it. It was mostly just him. But yeah, and that's how Everyday Hero was like, finally we're back together. Let's do our EP that we were working on before the pandemic, and then it became Everyday Hero. So that's the history of Vices Inc. basically.
So our vices is not, drugs related or anything like that. It's actually making too much music.
Making too much music and eating too much food. That's the Vices Inc. style.
We do like food.
I'm just trying to sort of come to terms with the amount of material you've written in 2 years, right? Because you'll get some artists that you'll be lucky if you get a single or two out of them. So where do you get this inspiration from?
Well, you want me to tell that story?
Yes, please.
Usually I write the music. The band's really cool about being open to whatever I'm in the mood for. So it varies. So sometimes I just get in the mood to do a project that's kind of symmetric where all the songs kind of go together. And I'll work on the basics of the song, usually just a guitar and to a click. And then I throw it to them, and then they put the ideas together and put the rest of the puzzle together. And then once we get that situated, we get together and record it as a real band to a click. And it's a joke. Anyways, and just like, we decide what we're going to use these songs for. If it's going to be one project or spread out. And then because like sometimes the songs we don't really know dictated where it's going to be. It might be a B-side, might be just something that we shelf and wait on. But the case is they're pretty open to whatever I'm in the mood for. And I haven't had a complaint yet besides one song, which we fixed, by the way. We did fix that though.
Okay, I'm starting to sort of get the hang of this. You guys aren't trying to put yourself in a box. You're kind of going and trying a lot of different things right now. That said, I did notice with Rolling 82, you're starting to find a comfortable sort of niche for yourselves in the way that, like, are you guys feeling more confident as performers together?
I say so. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One, the chemistry between us three, we had to figure it out, like, because the band before we started recording, we had a bigger band and it didn't work out. And we had to downsize to the people that did work together well. And we have a good chemistry together. One. Two, we had to also figure out a way to record where we're more comfortable. And we record our own studio now. We built a studio. So now we're like more in a comfortable situation where we dictate everything we do. Because at being at different studios, we found out that we never really had, even when we thought we gave it our best, it still wasn't great because we were on, time, or we didn't feel great that day, whatever the case may be. Now it's like we move our own pace, and it shows in the music. It's but it's also confidence, in our ability. I think Christy and Ellie both got better, even though you might not say it, but they both got better with what they do. And I got worse, and that's okay. But it's being comfortable, and we being having the chemistry between us three is helping a lot because you can see it in the music. We're always pretty much on the same page, besides when we're not on the same page, and then then we fight, and we have wrestling matches in the backyard. And I always lose. What is up with that? I don't get it. Don't listen to anything I say.
I already purposed that.
30% of it.
Because, like, you don't sound like you've been doing music for 2 years. Like, genuinely, you don't. When did each of you get started with your own musical journeys?
Good question. Start with Christy.
Yeah, sure. When I was 13, I started playing drums in like band class, basically, like typical, snare drum stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna learn to roll drum set. So I decided to take lessons, and I was pretty much obsessed with music up through high school. And then I went to college, and I couldn't practice anymore because you can't bring a whole drum set to college. So and I would do some classes and stuff, but it wasn't my major, so it just kind of fell off. So I've been a software developer for the last 10 years, and I just really missed stuff. So I ended up finding Jag on the internet. I had signed up for this website to find musicians, and it had been years. It had been 4 or 5 years I had been on this website, and he just happened to find me and message me, asked if he wanted to jam. And I was like, I miss playing drums. You have a drum set? And he's like, yeah, I have a drum set in my practice space. I go, I'm in. So the next thing I know, I was in a band. It was pretty crazy.
That's in a band.
How about you?
I have a very like classical background actually. So in kindergarten I started taking classical like violin lessons, and then I played violin for many, many years, and then I picked up viola, and that was sort of like I would sing a little bit in like church choir and stuff, but it was like that was more of like a hobby. And in high school I started taking classical voice lessons, and I was in like a jazz choir and like the concert choir and stuff, and an a cappella group briefly. That was really fun. But when I got to college, I was like actually approached by the musical theater voice teacher. I did like an audition, and she was like, hey, it sounds like you have some training. Like, I'm really interested in like maybe working with you. She's like, we don't usually offer voice lessons to non like musical theater majors, but I would love for you to like do like a group lesson or something. And so I started taking voice lessons with her, and she sort of helped me unlock like a more musical theater belty voice. But I always felt like it was more like punky than musical theater. Like I just don't have like that Broadway style thing, which is it's fine. But like so when I left college, or like I graduated, I was out of college for like half a year, and I was like, wow, it'd be really fun to be in a band. Like I like love music. Like I haven't really been doing much since like I graduated. Like I would love to like find a band. So I also turned to the internet, and I went on the same site that Christy used, and I just like made a little profile, and Jag contacted me and was like, hey, I have some people put together a band, like we're looking for a vocalist. Are you interested? And I came and did a little audition, and here we are.
Here we are. So me, I started doing piano was for. I'm from a classical and musical theater background, and I continued that through high school and college. So sometimes you actually can hear the musical theater elements in our music, actually, because it comes out a little bit. It's kind of funny. So I started guitar about 12, didn't take it really seriously until I was 14. And I'm a weird chameleon kind of guy. I just want to learn instruments. So I'll pick up an instrument and learn it within a week or so. And that's what I do. So I just learned one recently.
Yeah.
Lap steel. I learned it last week. And
it's already on a track.
It's already on track. Yep.
I just figured that we decided that we want to try to do everything in-house as much as possible. So if, like Ellie's learned to do cello, everything we can do in-house, we're going to do it. And that way we don't have to rely on anybody. We found out the hard way, relying on people sucks. It doesn't work out. So they let you down, You know what doesn't let you down though? Puppies. Puppies don't let you down now. I'm going to put that out there, okay? It's a reality, right? Yeah. But that's pretty much the musical element. I'm a pop punk kid in 2000s. You can tell in the music sometimes it comes out like that, but I love everything. From metal to jazz to pop, like pop music. I like pop music. I don't like country music though. I don't like country music. I'm sorry. There's my weakness. That's my kryptonite. But I think having a variety of music is a beautiful thing for sure. And I'm lucky I have a band that actually accepts that. They're like, I don't want to play that kind of music. None of that.
Beautiful. No, but all three of you seem like you've had time to develop yourselves as musicians.
Sure. And
you're obviously got a good chemistry when you play together, because it's just the little things, like you play in time and the harmonies work. And if you I noticed more synths and stuff like that in the most recent album, which was a lot of fun as well. So it's good to hear you trying different things. There's so much I want to talk about because you've just said so much cool stuff, but I'm having to think about this. You mentioned that you've got some stuff coming up, right? So like what is in the immediate future for Vices Inc?
You want to talk about that?
No, I don't even know.
Okay, so
we lost track.
Okay, well, we talked about how the Rolling 2 the EP, the 9-song EP, was going to be an album, and it is. So we have 2 different versions coming out. One is a CD version that has different tracks, and we have a cassette version that has different tracks. So therefore, you want all the tracks, you have to buy all. You have to get all versions of it. But the CD version has 19 songs, and then the cassette version has 16 songs. And basically, the reason we did a cassette, because, it's a novelty then. It's, 80s. It was cool. And I mean, yeah, you can listen to it and great, but it's really just because it looks cool, cassettes. But so that's coming out in about a month, those 2 versions. And, I'll just be honest about it. Eventually next year, the whole digital version of the album will come out. So if people decide they don't want to buy the CD or the cassette tape, which is fine, the 25-song digital version will come out next year. Then after that, immediate future, we have a short EP coming out, a Halloween EP, which will have a couple cover songs and 2 originals. The covers are Somebody's Watching Me and Ghostbusters. And then we've got a Motorhead type of song on there, like a Motorhead punk rock type of song, but more in a, thrash metal version of it. And then we also got a weird creepy organ song on that. And then after that, we have another 8-song Christmas album coming out that's mixed of cover songs and originals that are like electronica, but also rock stuff too. And that's going to be out before Christmas, obviously. That's the immediate future. But we actually know what comes out after that, actually, too. Because originally we were going to come out with an album at the end of this year called Hello Goodbye. It's going to be our epic album. Double album, by the way. And it's more like a senior songwriter type of song. Senior songwriter type of album that it's really important to us. So we knew we were rushing it a little bit, and we felt like it needs more time to be worked on. So we decided we're going to delay a little bit. But if Ellie wants to talk about that, she can, because I seem like I'm doing all the talking. Listen, I do all the talking in this band all the time, and you can't shut me up. I'm going to tell you something. Like, they work downstairs. This studio's downstairs in my house, and I have to stay upstairs because if I come downstairs, I talk too much, and they don't get any work done. So I feel like it's happening right now, right?
No, you're doing a great job.
So
this is about where we're supposed to talk.
We'll talk a little about Hello Goodbye. A little bit.
I don't know. It's a double album, singer-songwriter style. I don't want to give too much away. Yeah.
It's acoustically based.
Yeah.
Has brass in it. It's emotional. I think everybody can relate to it. It's kind of thing where if you've been depressed or, whatever, you can relate to this album. It's definitely personal for sure. And that's going to come out next year. And then the pop punk album comes out after that.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I think I've got all that. Because one thing I wanted to talk about, and this is potentially not something you expected me to talk about, was actually your website.
Oh yeah?
She designed it.
I built it too. Yeah, that's my day job, is making websites, and apps. I actually work for a podcast host, and I work on their app. So they're lucky they have a professional web developer in their band. So we just have a nice website. Anything in particular about it you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I just wanted to sort of compliment you on just how simple and straightforward it is and how easy it is to find everything. It's so cool. Like, literally, because I was doing some research for the interview, right? And it's there. And I don't have to search through 3 pages of Google to find it. And then, you've got all your releases there as well, and you've got your merch stuff, like your t-shirts and stuff like that. And thank you for promoting yourselves properly.
It makes me cry.
Definitely clean for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can tell a lot about a band by the way they present themselves in a website. Like, there was no filler. You're just so straightforward and so like professional, but you can see there's that humanity within it as well, which I quite liked. And I guess what I was going to ask you is about the other sides of yourselves as professional musicians. Like, what's the stuff with the promotion and social media stuff been like recently?
Well, we locked down that for a long time, and people complained about it for the longest time. Like, hey, don't you guys interact? And we're like, no, we don't. But I would say we started taking that more seriously, especially during the Rolling A 2 process. And it's done a lot. Like the fan base has grown, the interaction with fans grown, and I'm glad we have done it, but it's still like an awkward thing for us. We're awkward people in ways, so it's like we're kind of like geeky and have a problem like expressing ourselves, especially interacting with people. So it's still a new thing for us. It's still it's still weird having like people actually like us. It's like, you like our music? Like, why? Like, what are you doing? It's a weird feeling because you kind of like, you put yourself down about it because it's just the way it is sometimes. And you're like, my music's not that good. But having this real fans that interact with us, like, hey, your stuff is great and all this stuff, and gets me through my day. I'm like, pizza gets through my day. What are you doing? But we know now, and we take it seriously. We and obviously we feel, oh man, we feel awesome when people are doing that with us, interacting with us. Crazy. And it's only getting again bigger for us, and I'm hoping that it will continue doing that, getting bigger and larger, and our fan base will grow with that. But we don't take that for granted for sure. Never. We're going to take that for granted.
Because that's the thing, right? Nowadays, if you wanted to build a career as a professional musician or a professional act, you kind of have to consider that interaction with fans and stuff like that. So considering just how dope your music sounds at the moment and the amount of effort you're putting into both your songwriting and your production as well, your production's fairly tight. Like, to have all those different elements in there, like, what is the production process like itself?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
Well, it starts with I'm gonna say a joke about pizza.
For sure.
But
flip the dough.
we that we have a studio. We record at home at the studio, and all the equipment is professional. We have a vocal booth that Ellie likes to stay in there all the time, So everything's isolated in the way that needs to be isolated. When we're done recording, Ellie takes care of little things she needs to take care of. It's a vocal situation, it's called melodyne, and stuff like that. Just like making sure everything's all good in that sense. We send up to my brother's studio. My brother has a studio in Netherlands, and it's actually a professional studio, like a real band record there. So he has one of the people that works with him does our mixing. So he's really good. And then when it's done mixing, it goes to Abbey Road to get mastered. And so that way, the whole sound of it's professional all the way through.
Right.
The only one who's not professional is me. Everybody else is professional.
Or me.
Well, what's it like going to Abbey Road and getting it mastered?
Amazing. Because the person that does it, right, the first time we were working on our stuff, he just did Paul McCartney's album before that. I am.
Okay.
I was like, you think it's a trouble, dude?
Well, it's been a year now, anyways. Like, he just mastered Paul McCartney's album for us. I mean, that tells me, wow, And he actually liked that music, which makes me even feel good. You guys are really good. And stuff.
I thought it was so
cool. We have that relationship now. We go to the same person all the time mastering because he knows our music and he knows we have such a variety. And same with the mixer. We're not gonna go into anybody else. It just, once you get that chemistry and you have that thing worked in, locked in. We learned the hard way about people's mixes and stuff.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun mixes.
once you got that locked in, you stay with that because it can be judgmental. You can have the greatest stems in the world, but if someone's mixing it in a tin can, it's gonna sound like it's mixed in a tin can. So you have to be really, really strict about that, and we are. And I love the way we have it all set up now.
So you guys record in your own studio, then you send it off to the Netherlands to get mixed, and then you send it to Abbey Roads to get mastered. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that explains the production dope. Yeah. So just to kind of, so I understand things correctly, you guys have spent individually, you've spent a lot of your lives working with music and developing your skills as musicians, and you met 2 years ago with that, and you've gone from that point to now, where you've released 2 albums, you're getting them mastered through Abbey Roads, you've got your own studio and everything sorted, and you're basically fully independent.
Yeah, that's
Yes, yeah.
that sums it up. And we own a publishing company, so we don't. Yeah, you know, you know. Yeah, as much as possible, we do it ourselves. If we can manufacture, you know, the CDs and stuff, like professionally, we would do it. So we're not at that point yet.
Because what I love as well is that you guys are doing CDs.
Well, it's, you know, it's like having that in your hand. You know what I mean? It's not like having that album in your hand and reading it and looking at it. And that's why I look at it. You know, I mean, yes, the digital part of it is easy and it's more accessible, and you know you can listen to it anytime. But something about having an album, or because we're gonna vinyl records too, by the way, coming out pretty soon. So having a vinyl record or whatever it is, it's just cool to have, right? It's not about being retro. It's just cool.
It's dope. It's great. It's so refreshing. You know, because sometimes I get people, I had people send 30-track albums in, right? They spend years on that. And it's just digital. And it's just a thing that goes on Spotify. And then that's it. But you guys are like, no, we're going to give people a thing that they can hold. And it's so cool. Oh, you guys have really put a lot of thought into it. I think that's what I like about you guys, is that even if you kind of feel a bit awkward about talking to people, I think the beauty of that is that you're authentic. Because often when people are very good at talking to people, it's when they know how to talk to people. And they're kind of, maybe, you know, it's like, do you really care about me as a fan? Have you got any stories about fans you've had interactions with?
That's a good question. I don't. Well, we had a weird one at the show that stalked you. The lady like, oh, you seem so good.
Oh.
Nah, that's not a good story.
Yeah, I mean, the thing was like the pandemic really put a damper on our like live shows.
Yeah.
So like we really haven't been able to interact with people
because
like in person
we
at all.
we only started playing shows like we started in end of 2019. And then we had to, you know, we were going to have all these shows booked in 2020, and we only were able to up to March to do it because of the pandemic. So we lost out on that. So basically, I mean, you know, we're looking at 2022 to be, you know, where we actually got to play again. Hopefully, that's what we're hoping. But until then, we're going to do some streaming stuff, you know, streaming shows and everything. But yeah, we lost that a little bit. You know, and so instead of just sitting on our hands and not doing anything, we said, okay, let's work on music. And that's what we did instead.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So that's just kind of to make up for the live shows that you weren't able to do.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta stay busy. Otherwise, you know, you get stale. Like when we had some time off during 2020 before we really got back together again, we were stale. It took a long time for Ellie to get her voice back. Mm-hmm. I had to learn the guitar again. I had to get lessons again. You don't believe me. but it was a little bit to click back in again. It took a while. You know, now we're like a good engine. I don't want to let that stop. So there's no stopping. Every week's a new thing for us. That's them. Every week it's like, it's more homework.
Nope. If I don't get a call from him, I'm like, oh no, is he okay? I better text him, make sure he's okay.
For sure.
Well, I mean, like, arguably the most important thing you guys are having right now is you're having fun. You guys just seem like you're having a lot of fun with the music. So, like, how do you want to translate towards like the live streams? How are the live streams going to work for these performances?
I think we're still trying to figure that out, right?
We think the first one we're going to do is going to be acoustic, and then we're going to record it. I'll just be straight with you. We're gonna record it, and then we're gonna kind of edit it and then release it out, kind of then, just so we get comfortable with it. And once we get the chemistry going with that, and we're it's comfortable, then we're probably gonna do it like straight live. But we're gonna start with acoustic, just because it's a little easier to manage that instead of having us playing full blast loud and stuff.
It's also only 3 of us, and you can only play one instrument at a time.
Well, they trying to make me do more than one, and I'm trying to work on that, but it hasn't worked
play
out.
with your feet and your mouth, and I don't know, man.
Your elbows.
But a lot of the music transcends well acoustically, so we're gonna maximize on that because I think it's gonna sound great, actually.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like with these, first impressions, right? Even with live streams, like even if you've released 2 albums, if people like, because often you can have a different audience with live streams, can't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure. I mean, there's we're not just like marketing it in one way. It's like, whatever. But we're also trying to market the music, not stay in one style. Also, we try to make it more spread out. So whatever music you like, there's something in that element you're gonna like. Hopefully, besides country music.
No, I've got to be really careful when I say I don't like a genre, because if I say I don't like a genre, then people are going to be like, oh, well, fuck
You
that
can't
guy.
Well, the thing is, like we did a couple of songs recently that have a country feel to it. So it's an inside joke to us.
Yeah.
And we did it. We didn't even know we did it, kind of thing. It just happened. So therefore, you're going to hear that sometime, obviously, because you hear it than we do. But it's like 3 songs that definitely have a country twang to it. I'm like, what the hell did this come from?
We're like listening. We're like, oh, we accidentally made some country music, and it sounds pretty good.
That's a beautiful thing. It's great that even with country, it's great that even you're making even country sound good. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. With the live streams, like, are you going to play the music differently, or is it going to be kind of like, I know you said acoustic. I know, but like, are there going to be variations unique to the performance? Because like, have you released tracks recently that have had changes to them, or like between versions?
Wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, there's a song called Baby Your Love. There's 3 versions of that song. One is a single version that hasn't come out yet. There will be coming out. That's more on the pop side. One's on the album, which you've already heard on the Rolling Me 2. That's more rocky. Well, I did an instrumental version where I play lead guitar through the whole thing. So I actually, yeah. It's what's that?
There's also the remix.
Oh, it's a remix too. There's a dance version. I forgot all about that. Damn.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely well, not all songs we do that, but there's definitely variations of some of these songs. And yeah, it's if you like it, then great. If you don't like it, sorry.
Well, exactly. But I guess how do you keep the core essence of the music despite the instrumental changes and stuff?
Well, on the pop version, not the pop version, the dance version, I worked around her vocals. So I made it around her vocals. So that was the core of it right there. On the instrumental version of like Baby Love, I just want to rock out and play lead guitar and sound, hopefully sound cool, because I would imagine myself like if Ellie was like, oh, my voice hurts right now. Can I take a break? And I'm like, yeah, you can take a break. Let me take care of this. And I made it like, so if I could showboat a little bit if I had to, it could, or if I'm allowed to. And so that's how I, approach that one. The other ones, it's like sometimes you just want to do a variation, if vocally or something, just to try things out. Like Rolling 2, the song itself, there was a different version of it originally, and we decided to change it. And if you, it's just sometimes I was in the shower, right? This is true. I was in the shower, like, I got an idea. And Ellie's like, that's a cool idea with me. Let's do it, But usually she's like, I don't like your ideas at all. Your ideas are terrible. She goes, you call yourself a musician? I'm like,
whoa.
We have to deal with, okay?
He like says these things, and some people think it's true. They're like, wow, your band sounds really mean. And Christy and I are over here like...
Yeah, like as an interviewer, sometimes like people will say stuff and I don't know what to do because it's like if I gamble on it being true, then I'm gonna look silly. If I gamble on it being false and it was true, I'm kind of screwed there as well, So I typically just kind of smile because that's the best way.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
But They'll call me out every time, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, we'll be nice. We'll help you. Don't worry.
If you were to do live shows with all the instruments and stuff like that you've got involved, how would you do them?
We're gonna have like session people work with us. We may add another person eventually. We haven't decided that yet. We figured at least if we have one more person, we can balance that out a little bit more. For now, when we do play live, it's gonna be session for sure. Because all bands do that. Even the biggest bands in the world have session people on stage with them. Everybody. So we don't mind that. But again, we don't want to ruin what we have connected here. We found out the hard way many times. It doesn't work with many people. For whatever reason it is. And this is not an easy band to be in because I'm not easy to work with. You need to work. You need to work. I'm constantly coming up with music, and if you're not on the same page with me, you hit the bus. You're driving her off at the bus stop again.
Back where you found me.
So it's just the work element, and I think we're not going to ruin that just to have shows. So therefore, we're going to just utilize what we can. And I think having session people is the best idea because they're professional in their ways and they can play anything we come up with.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't want to screw up that band chemistry. And then you have one person who comes in and they could be like, no. And if you just avoid it by just not doing it, it saves them getting like a little bit too comfortable and then them actually influencing some of the decisions. And then it's tricky to kick them out, especially if you were to record stuff with them, because I can only imagine having to negotiate royalties and stuff like that wouldn't be a lot of fun. So I completely understand what you guys are doing.
Yeah, we come, we've crossed past it before, and what happens is we have to do stuff over again, and just to get rid of them out of the session. So we had to do songs totally over again, so we could have it to be just us. We don't want to do that anymore. So who wants to work all the time on stuff that you already done like 40,000 times? I like to work on new material.
Yeah. If there's anything I've learned from this interview, is that you're very keen to work on new material. So it's
Indeed.
No, you're fine. Like, I was just gonna comment on the metal album that you guys have been talking about because I quite like my metal. What does metal mean to you guys?
Well, let's talk with the metal girl over there.
Well, I don't think I was always a really big metal fan. That was really what kind of drove me to pick up drum sets. I'm wearing my Motorhead hoodie right now. And I was never the best as far as a metal drummer. That's part of the reason when Jack was like, oh, we do pop punk. I was like, oh, I can play that. And it's like, so yeah.
You can play Wagon Wheel.
Yeah. I never should have told you about that. Never should have told you. Sorry, inside joke of me, like before I met the band, that the last time I played drums was at an open mic night where, a bunch of people were playing songs like Wagon Wheel and things like that. So.
Oh, no, not Wagon Wheel.
Yeah, I played it so many times. I didn't last very long. I think I only did it like maybe 3 or 4 times. But it's like I miss drumming, but I don't know if I miss it this much,
So,
I totally lost track of that. Oh, yeah, we're talking about metal.
It's like, I want to play drums, but I have to play Wagon Wheel. Which do I choose?
Yeah, it really is like that.
That was the options I had. It was kind of depressing.
But the metal album is going to be like a concept album, which kind of all fits together a little bit. Not necessarily say that it is going to be a story, but it's going to feel like it is. And it's going to be from different elements of metal, which means like some of it's going to be just straight regular metal. Some of it's going to be a little bit on the harder side, darker side. Some of it's going to be progressive metal. So it's really touching base with different styles and stuff. But for the most part, the album's complicated, very mathematical, if that makes sense. And if you like metal at all, from different variations, you're going to like it. But there's a lot of definitely like, from like the Dream Theater type of style to, like a Metallica type of thing to, I don't know, obviously Culture Club.
in your culture club.
No.
Swear to God.
Chumbawamba, Chumbawamba. But you know, I'm just don't trust me. But it is different trying to do different elements. But it's definitely going to be an album. It's called
Scenes from the Lucid Dream.
Scenes from Lucid Dreams. So it's basically like having nightmares and dreams in music. That's what the album's gonna be about. So basically, you're gonna listen to it at night. You're gonna have nightmares at night, and you blame me. You know, or blame Ellie with her vocals.
How dare you?
That sounds like the best kind of nightmares. I'm just thinking, like what? I'm blown away by you guys. You guys have accomplished so much in such a short amount of time. Did you guys think that you'd be in this position 2 years later when you started?
No.
No, I honestly, like 2 years ago, I thought, well, definitely Ellie wouldn't be in the band anymore, you know, because she's, I thought, I really thought that, you know, when we were talking about it, like being honest about it, I said it's going to take 3 to 5 years just to get to where we are now. And so I wasn't prepared for that either. And I don't know if the pandemic helped us out in that way. I don't think it did. I mean, it gave us material, but it wasn't about that. I just think that things just fell into place the right way. And if you creating something that people like, that's the whole thing about it. You know, we're not creating music that, you know, I guess, you know, there's always gonna be people that don't like us, and that's fine. You should have a choice about what you like and what you listen to. And I want people not to like us because, you know, we suck. But the point is, you know, I think the fact is we're creating some music that a good majority of people like. It makes it easier as to, you know, ascertain sense of what we're talking about. And I'm happy with that. But also, if you say, oh, 2019, you expect this to happen. No way, Jose. It was, I really didn't think we'd be a band in 2 years.
I thought we were gonna be. I thought I was coming here to play drums every once in a like a couple times a week, tops.
Like a fun jam around thing, you know, and you know, and that's great. But you know, I don't. If someone sits there, you know, and you know, they're so pretentious that they're gonna be famous or something in a year or two. Who are you? You know what I mean? Who the hell are you? You know, seriously. You know, the best band in the world might be making music right now. No one knows it. No one hears about it. And that's the way I look at it, you know? Like, I'm not saying our music is great. I'm happy to make it, and I love making it, but you're going to tell me that we're better than this other band? No. It just, if you're making music, man, that's beautiful. I don't care what kind of music you're making. You're making music, as long as it's not racist music or anything like that. Yeah. But as long as you're making something out there, that's positive, man. And that's how I look at it. So if anything comes out of this, like success-wise, yeah, well, you know, it's a dream, and I hope it does happen. But at the same time, I'm realistic. You know, it's so hard to make it in music. You know, so this is why we're doing our thing, because we want to be different. We want to have something that's different that you're not normally going to get. You're going to get a band that does all the different styles. Either you're going to like it, you're going to hate it. But that's our niche, I guess. You know, and I don't want to say that niche, but it is our niche. But we're not doing it to get famous. We're not doing that niche to get famous. We're doing it because I like music and I make them play this music all the time, you know, but we all like varieties of music, and it just, I don't know. There's something beautiful creating something from nothing to seeing it finished. It's so beautiful. I came in and you sit back and you listen after it comes from back Abbey Road and you're like, holy cow, we created that. How did we do that? You know? So
yeah, it's wild.
That part right there is enough for me. You know, if there's a monetary part of it, you know, sure. If that happens, great. But I just want to make good music. So when I'm old one day, I can look back and it's like, wow, I created something no one else created. Or maybe they did, whatever. But the point is, we always say, like, everything's already done. Fine, great. But the point is, if we create something that we can look back and be proud of, that's all I'm asking for. I don't think it's asking much.
Do you feel like people have kind of lost the point of making music in the first place with all the changes that have happened in the music industry over the last 10 years?
Well, I feel like a lot of it's synthetic, for sure. There's an easy way to make music, you know, these 4-chord, simple melodies and stuff. And then, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to diss that. I mean, a lot of it has a place. But it's also, it's like cookie cut, too. and you're having that come out there on pop radio or whatever, and every other song sounds basically the same thing. It's like the originality is drained out of it. It's hard to be original because you try to be something that's, I guess, that's not in the mainstream of things, and no one's gonna listen to you. Who's gonna listen to you? You're gonna play at a bar with 3 people, like, hey, play Fever, bro. So it's hard to do that. You see, you got to figure it out. What are you doing music for? Are you music to make money and be famous, or you making music to make music because that's what you want to do? That's just your main goal, is to make beautiful music, or music that you enjoyed playing. Well, that's what we do it for. But I think I'm not disrespecting anybody who makes music in any way they do it. If it's for top 40 radio, great. That's what you want to do. That's great. But do it because that's what you want to do. That's what's in your heart. Not do it because other people's making you do it and you're only doing it for a reason, for exposure or whatever else. Do it because that's what you really want to do. Man, I talk too much, don't I? I just talk. You need to put a muzzle on,
Yeah,
It's a beautiful thing, actually. Like what my goal with these interviews is personally is just to listen to people and their stories, right? So you guys are chatting, you might feel like you're talking too much, but to me it's a hell of a lot more authentic than just going, right, 10 questions. Do. So, even though I run the risk of people being sick of me after an hour, the idea is that people sort of learn more about yourselves as musicians, and hearing that you're making music for the sake of being passionate about it, and that you're not trying to make music to like try and follow a certain kind of direction, and that you're going all over the place and trying all sorts of new stuff, and that you're having fun with it. And like the reason I asked about, do you think people have kind of lost their ways? Because I feel like a lot of people have missed the fundamental part of enjoying the music they make.
Yeah,
for sure. They probably, they're a little delusional. They don't know why they're doing it anymore. I think what happens is, if you become popular in a way, you're stuck in that mold, and it's hard to break out of that. And you think you're obligated to keep that mold. So, I kind of feel bad from that in that sense too, because, they feel like they're trapped. How can you be trapped by music? How can you be by art? It's a crazy notion to think about, but we're not going to be in that same field, in that same situation, because if we don't like something, we don't do it. That's the way it is with this band. And I don't want to do something, she ain't going to make me do it unless you offer me food. You offer me food, pizza and tacos, I might do something. But realistically, I mean, if we don't want to do something, we decide a long time we're not going to do it, And I don't know if that's, sticking to our virtuals or whatever. I think it's just the fact is you have to decide that early on why you're doing it for. What's the reason you're doing it for? And once you get to that point where you understand that as a collective, it makes it easier. It makes it a lot easier to do this. Because seriously, do I want to, have it where I can make enough money to buy, nicer things? Sure. But that's not the reason I'm doing it. It's never going to be the reason I'm doing it. It'd be a nice gesture, but I think some of the people just so trapped in that, it's like almost as people that on social media all the time, they have to take 10 pictures a day, every day, because they feel like they're going to lose the element of fan base if they don't do it. And I feel bad for these people. Like, they feel like you have to do this every single day, to keep things flowing. I want to be able to take a nap, I want to be able to do what I want to do. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to be doing all this stuff because for whatever reason, I want to be able to dictate what I do in my life up to a point. I still want to pay my bills.
Yeah.
Because potentially a question I would typically ask a lot earlier, and I've just remembered I should probably ask now, is who are your musical influences? Who inspires you as musicians?
Oh, that's a good question. And I'm talking too much. Let them do something for once.
Sure, I can go first. I think mine will lend to some of our genre being all over the place. Like, pretty much stuff I listened to in high school. So I listened to everything from Green Day to Motorhead to Metallica, I liked a lot of Disturbed, a lot of new metal. That was my big thing in high school. Nowadays I'll even listen to pop sometimes. So you guys shake it off because of you guys. Of course, Rush, because I'm a drummer. I have to be led to Rush and Blink-182 because it's basically required, and I love it. Yeah, go ahead.
Every time I answer this question, like later on, I'm like, oh my god, I didn't say this.
I do the same thing.
Or this one. But just to name a few, I love Lady Gaga. I love Demi Lovato. I love Panic at the Disco. I've been listening a lot to Pierce the Veil recently. Sort of I don't know. I do this thing where I'm like, I love this band, and then I'm like, well, I really only know this one album, but I love this album so much. So I'll bounce around. So I love State Champs. I really only know one of their albums, but I love them so much.
Not to interrupt you, but it made me think of I get into these kicks of just bands. And I'll just be right now my thing is the Distillers. So I only knew one or two of their songs, and I decided just to hop in on Spotify one day, and I listened to their early 2000s 2 albums back to back for the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's I don't know, something I think you should listen to. I don't know if you ever listened to them, but she has it's punk rock female vocalist.
Nice.
You'd be into it, I think.
For sure.
All right. I like everything. I mean, obviously, but I mean, from the Beatles to Brand New. I mean, I could go on, but it's hard because I like certain decades, and I'll get obsessed with that decade. But one of the biggest music, the music I listen to outside of this band, and they don't, they know about it now, but before they never knew about it. I listen to a lot of 60s soul music. Crazy, right? Because I want to break away from what we do. I want something that's totally out of our element that we're not going to do. I'm not going to be doing, soul music or Motown. I like listening to it though. But really, it's the day of how I feel, and I'll listen to whatever at that certain days. So influence-wise, I mean, I really can't put a one band or whatever because it's too hard. I change all the time, but I think that's a great thing about it because I think all our elements, the stuff the music I'm writing comes from having such a wide taste of music. I collect music. I got 1,000 vinyl records. I don't really listen to them though. I'm weird though. I like to collect them. I know it's weird, right? But I collect watches too. Yeah, that's me. I just like anything besides country. Have we talked about that yet?
Did you know that? Did you know that?
It's a new thing to you, right? You haven't heard that yet 1,000 times.
What else haven't we talked about? Because it's interesting. I can hear a lot of those influences in the music you make. We've covered who you are, what musicians you're into, how you guys met and what your musical backgrounds have been like, how you guys practice and how you write your music and how you record and produce your music. We've talked about your social media stuff and your website and your live shows and your live streams. What else would you like to talk about? Anything else I've missed?
You got a puppy? You got a puppy in the house?
I would love one. I've got a cat, but she's very shy of strangers, and we had a stranger come to the house, and she's hiding somewhere at the moment.
Oh, poor baby.
Yeah, we like animals here. I have a cat. He has a cat.
I have a cat, yeah. His name is MJ. He's not too bright, but he's a nice kitty.
He's so cute. He has double paws. The biggest paws you've ever seen. Amazing.
She works with dogs for a living. Ellie does. So she sends pictures randomly.
It's so cute.
It's the best job ever. It's the best job I've ever had. But it's very fun. I mean, I had to get up super early this morning to go for a bike ride with some huskies, which was it's my favorite thing, but I'm so tired.
I'm sorry. I know this is late on a Saturday, but
It's not late.
I'm not late at all. We stay up really late. I do have a question for you. When you did the review of Rolling E2, there's a couple of songs you liked, and then there was a song you said that from our previous releases that you saved because you liked a lot. We want to know what song that was because you never mentioned what song that was. And
If
we
you
don't know if it's from
remember.
a Everyday Hero album or it's from another release. But we've been waiting to find out what song that was.
I'm gonna go open Spotify and see if I can find it because I remember how it sounds. I'm gonna open Spotify, move it over here. Back in the day, where is it? Where is that?
It was our first song on Spotify.
Yes,
So you
that is better than before.
before, yeah.
So I thought it was gonna be Arcade Love. That's the one I thought you were gonna like.
Yeah, I do like Arcade Love. I'm just trying to. I liked an Everyday Hero as well. I liked the song An Everyday Hero. There was one that was just complete insanity. I can't remember which one it was though. Oh my goodness, you guys have released so many songs. You, I liked Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I liked how you guys got all like kind of raunchy in it. It was great.
We remember like we watched the long interview for the Everyday Hero, and like you were very expressive about everything, about every song, and then Cuz I comes on. That's the one with the little guy in it, little boy. And you didn't say anything. Like you just like you're blown away by the little guy saying that song, and like okay, that's cool. You were expressive about every other song, but that song you're like, wow, this little guy is singing the song. Which is he's a co-vocalist, by the way. His name is Atticus. We'll put it out there probably. Atticus.
Oh.
Well, we got our first album, which it's called I've Got the Blues. It's not available right now, but we're gonna re-release it. And there's a song by Atticus on it. It's called I've Got the.
My name is Atticus.
Because
My name is-
damn right, I got the blues.
So
Yeah.
listen for that one. If you like his vocals, you're gonna hear another song by him pretty soon.
It's just like when I do these album reviews, right? There's a real risk of like listening fatigue. But I didn't really get that with you guys because you changed your material throughout the album and you did stuff like with Atticus, and I was blown away just because I was impressed that you guys knew to have that variety in there. And I was thankful for it because that's the only time where being a music reviewer is tough. When bands are afraid to go out of their mold and they just stick within one sound. Do you know what I mean? So I thank you for that.
So that little guy Atticus, no one knows who he is or where he came from. Like he just shows up sometimes when we're recording.
And he goes, I got this. He goes, I got this.
Yeah.
He goes,
Get out of the vocal booth, Ellie. I got this.
Does a mic drop every time. We're like, don't drop the mic. Every time.
You want to know a secret? We on the new version of Rolling 2, we do a rap song on it. A rap song. A
No.
rap song.
What?
Yep.
And I think it sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah. I thought it came out pretty good.
What? What? Rap? What genre have you guys not done?
Bossa
metal
Nova.
yet.
Bossa Nova. No
Bossa
Bossa
Nova.
no
Yeah, that's
Bossa
true.
Nova.
No Bossa Nova. That's a good one. Things that we haven't done or are not going to do is actually hard because we have other things planned that are of crazy varieties.
I'm gonna tell you something that no one knows about yet. In a couple of years from now, we're gonna be working on a project called Escapism with a Constant Dream. It's actually my thesis for school to get my master's. My doctorate actually. And so it's gonna be a book, and we're gonna make an album from that book, make music to go with this book, and then we're gonna do two versions of that. One's gonna be a regular album by License Inc., and then we're gonna do a musical theater version of that album too. We're actually working on that right now too, as we work on all the stuff. That's gonna happen.
We're working on everything
So basically,
at all times.
we are definitely working on something. We're probably working on like 4 projects at once all the time.
I'm gonna be needing a nap after this. It's so much stuff you guys have been up. I'm not used to this. I'm used to someone being, I've done a song and there's another song coming soon, and that's
You're gonna hear another song 6 months from now.
exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. I don't have an issue with it. It's just you guys are just phenomenal with your productivity, and it's so dope. Like, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate you guys coming in today for an interview. Like, are there any last words that you wanted to say about your music?
Well, like I was saying before, I hope, people get to, take a chance to listen to us. make a opinion on their own. If they like it, cool. If they don't, great. That's okay too.
Well,
I mean,
if they don't like it, they can wait for the next release.
It's
and
true.
maybe
They
they'll
probably like that. Yeah.
and just be patient with us. We're trying to do it. We're still finding a way as a band. We're still not there yet. And, we want to be out there playing shows, and we will be eventually. We want to be safe about this, obviously. But in the meantime, we're going to give you music. You want music? We got that covered. We're doing our job there. And, that's probably the words for me. It's just keep looking, keep checking us out, because it's going to be something new all the time, and hopefully that, we keep doing this for a long time to come. Like, I want to be doing this for another year and a half, at least. No, I want to do it until I'm too old, and I want to be complaining about it all the time. Oh my God, you guys! Oh. I want to be really old doing this still, with these two, maybe.
Maybe.
Just, if you guys don't feel like you're where you want to be yet, and you sound like you do, you guys are going to be insane when you get to the point that you'll be happy with. So I mean that. It's just, I've listened to a few thousand songs over the last year from lots of different artists, and you guys are doing very well for yourself. So where can people go to listen to your music?
I need to tell you something first. Let's tell him.
Oh, I was actually going to ask you if you wanted to bring that up.
We should tell him. You got credit for something here. You need to know you helped us out with something. Tell the story.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, so you the first time you reviewed us, it was our Better Than Before song. We did it without a click, and you brought up that, oh, this would be better, if they played it to a click. And so we did. And we took your advice, and we thought it was really cool that you were you really enjoyed the song, but you also gave us really good constructive criticism, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna do the song again.
So from that moment on, we do everything to click professionally all the time now. It's because of you. So you listen to the second version of Better Before, and you know the difference between the first version and the second version. You right away, it's like, I could tell they played a click, and and wasn't, because the first time we did it in a live room. It wasn't obviously it wasn't click, and we didn't do it separately. We did it all at once. But you literally changed the way we did the music. You did. It's true. That's because of that, because we said, oh, we want to do this the right way, and then we did. And we challenged ourselves to make sure we did it professionally, and that's what we did from now on.
You guys are gonna get me emotional. That means a lot. When I reviewed that, I just started doing these reviews. So typically I was shitting myself whenever I gave criticism like feedback like that, because I was like, what if they just tell me to go fuck myself,
Yeah.
or something? But you actually you took it and you did something with it, and oh my goodness, that's made my entire month, knowing that you guys were
we're the first person to review our stuff, or even really talk about us. It was super cool for us. This guy actually listened to our music and liked it and talked about it. That's awesome. That's so cool.
But it's definitely true. We changed how we approach our music and how we record it because of that interview. That one interview did it. It's crazy, but it's true.
Just thank you for being thanks for being good about it. That's how you grow as musicians. As I understand it, that is how you grow. You guys don't need any advice from me, because you guys have got 45,000 Spotify listeners. You guys are doing pretty well for yourselves at the moment. Those are that's just, yeah, I remember listening to the second version of that, and I was like, fuck yes. You did it. You did it. And don't get me wrong, I loved the original version. I loved how raw it was. I was just I can tell these guys really care about what they're doing, and it's just that thing. And otherwise, it's all good.
For sure. And at that time, we're still trying to find our niche in the band too. It's still early on, but it's still, the point is we right after that we approached it differently, and we never looked back since then. It's this is where we're going to do it from now on. And it's such a great then, because it makes life so much easier playing through a click.
Yeah, it's way easier for me. Like I think part of the reason the song was so out of time is because I was really stressed out in the studio trying to play. Like it's like, oh, if I screw up, he has to play the song again. Like I feel bad. So
A lot of pressure.
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because like recording's tough. Recording is brutal. It is visceral. I know this having recorded people over the years, as well as recording. You have to, even if you can like perfect it in post, it's not going to sound as good as if you can nail the take. And it's hard. So I get it. It's brutal, but you guys have grown over the last 2 years and you're in a position now where you're making some headway, even if you don't feel like you're fully where you want to be or you haven't found your niche. And yeah, I honestly wish you guys the best of luck in future with that.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
So, any final words before we finish off for today?
Well, we appreciate meeting you finally.
Yeah, it was great to meet you.
You know, we look forward to your videos all the time. So it's like it's exciting for us. We actually get together and watch when the video comes on. We actually watch it all together at the same time. We love it. It's a thing for us.
Yeah, my parents made me watch all your videos with them. I went up to visit them like a few months ago. They were like, "Oh, there's more of these videos. I only seen like one of them." I'm like, "Oh no, do we have to watch all of these now?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, let's go."
But we hope to continue this relationship with you in the future because we respect you. We respect what you say about our music and you know how you compare it to other things and everything you say about it. To me, it's always been spot on. Besides that, Abba thing. One time you said we sound like Abba.
Well, nobody's perfect, am I right?
No,
no.
There's nothing wrong with Abba though. Actually, have a comeback. You know. But I just want to say that, you know, whoever's listening to us, you know, listen to this and watch us, please give us a chance. And if there's something you don't like about it, talk to me. Tell me about it. I like to know. I really do. If you do like something about it, thank you.
Yeah, we like to hear about that too. I'm not gonna lie.
And if you want to send me free food, I'm not gonna complain about that either. One thing we to do is we have someone we didn't mention, but one of the people that work with us all the time is actually Ellie's. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Ellie's boyfriend is Pretty Boy JG. So
Okay.
And he, you know, and we want to give a shout out to him. Shout out to Pretty Boy JG.
Awesome. Yeah, because I didn't mention Pretty Boy, but they did a great job too.
Yes, he did. He's actually right over there. He's right there.
Yo.
Hi, Sarah. You gonna say hi?
Hello.
I have to say, I quote you once a week.
He quotes you once a week, he says. Come over here.
When you're like,
Come and sit
when
on
you
our
were
lap.
reacting, there's a review, and you were reacting to Arcade Love, and you go, Spider-Man film. And I probably do that once a week since then. Come over. Jesus.
Okay, all right, hello.
So he quotes you once a week.
I'm going to be smiling for the rest of the day. You guys are beautiful people. Thank you so much to all of you for your great work with your music and for your time today with this interview. And hopefully you guys, best of luck in future, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
See ya.
See you later, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Or a great night. It's like 8 o'clock for you guys, right? Sorry. I don't know times, apparently.
You have a great day.
You have a great day. We'll have a great evening.
Thank you. See you later. And that was my interview with Vices Inc. What an emotional roller coaster that was. I feel like I say that all the time. All the time, dude. But this was a pretty special one. Apparently, I'm getting quoted now. Apparently, people watch my reviews. That blows my mind. When I started doing these interviews and these reviews, I never thought that people would care about them. Genuinely never thought people would care. And the fact that people do, that people watch them, and this is coming from a guy who has an audience of around 120,000, 123, 124,000 people across his YouTube and Bilibili. It still hasn't clicked for me that people care about, but this isn't about me. This is about Vices Inc. Eleanor, Christy, Jagger, and Pretty Boy Pretty Boy. I love it. Hopefully you enjoyed this interview. Please do go show them some love via their various social medias and Spotify, and stay cool and stay safe. And please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time. They need all the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on. Catch you next interview. Spider hands up.